What is going on, everyone? Welcome back again. In this episode of Studio Saturdays, we will be going over the effects of dodging and burning and how they can be used to improve the look of your product. So as you can see, we've already loaded up our image. It's a simple little vape shot on a standard, simple background, just a black plexiglass with a reflection going out in the background. Very simple. Obviously, you can see we have some dust over here, some scratches in the plexi here, but other than that, it's very smooth. So to start out, first thing I want to do is we're just going to straighten this, try and get our horizon line correct. Enter that so it looks straight now, so our horizon line is straight. And then obviously what we can do, start to play around with a lot of the raw settings to where we can really get it how we want it. Now I'm noticing a lot of lost data down in this bottom corner here. I probably could have used a flag there to add in a bit more reflection. We're going to see if we can do any additional color shifting to really make it pop a bit more. Ooh, I really like the red on that. That's really, really nice. I'm going to tone it down just ever so slightly. But I really like that. I think that looks great. You can also adjust highlights and stuff in here. I tend to stick away from it just because on something this simple, it's going to really affect it. We're going to add a little bit of red shadow so it blends in more. And we're going to adjust our luminance. We're going to brighten up that red, try and smooth it out a bit. Lighten up our orange to keep our golds similar up top here. See where our yellows are, we can drag those down slightly. Getting a lot of blues out of the top here. But we really want to make that pop to stand away from the background. As you can see, our magentas are adjusting right here on this box. If you look right here, you can see where we're adjusting. So we want to push those to make it even. And you can see we're only adjusting some magentas up top here. But then after that, we can desaturate those. So now this is going to turn the box basically black again. Can push up some colors here so it makes the tip pop a bit more, just to really get it to stand out. And then we can turn up our luminance here, so it's going to smooth it out a lot more. And then we can come back in and push our clarity a bit higher, just like so. And then we can come in and adjust our tone curve. We can push this up, and as you can see, it's going to brighten the whole image. And when we pull this down, it's going to start to fade it out, which we don't really want to do. So we're going to grab it on the center point. We're going to delete that point. And pull this back down slightly, but still keeping it raised. And we can push out our highlights from here. I think where it was actually did a really good job. And you can also come in and adjust strictly off of curves. So if you want red highlights more, you can adjust your red highlights. You can raise your reds. So as you can see, we're going to be adjusting down low there. We can also pull them back in. As you can see, that adds kind of a red hue across the box we don't really want, so we can drag that down. We can come into our greens and adjust our greens out. You can even go into the blues now. And you can basically leave it just like that. So now you can see the before and after. We had kind of a yellowish hue. Now we really have like a flaming red. Obviously you can see we have some scuffs on the box as well that are going to need to be taken care of. But other than that, you can really see how much of an impact just using all your raw data can do. But now we're actually gonna get into the fact where we're actually going to be practicing dodge and burn. So first we're going to do is duplicate our background layer out, and then I'm just going to race through this to do any of our dust layers and stuff like that. Alright guys, so now that we did our dust layer and our clone stamping layer to remove any other unsightly objects on our product and our background, we are now moving on to the dodge and burn layer. So for dodge and burn, you're going to just grab your dodge and burn tool here. I like to leave it on the dodge tool. Or on the burn tool actually. So I leave it on the burn tool. We're going to put this actually up to around 25%. We're going to leave it on midtones for right now, just so we're evenly adjusting this product. Click anywhere on the image to highlight out of there, and then Control or Command Z to adjust. And the first thing I'm going to do is I need to lighten up this side of the object. So we're just going to kind of come in here, you can press and hold Alt, and that'll swap it and turn it into the dodge tool. So as you can see, it'll lighten it, but if I don't click Alt, I can darken it. So we're gonna hold Alt first, so we're gonna be dodging here. It's adding in a really, really red hue. So first thing we're gonna do, we're actually gonna dodge right on this button here. We can reduce the size of it. So this way we can come in really close. We're gonna dodge right across here, right in this outer rim. And then we're gonna burn the other sections to really make sure you can notice that bezel pop. We're gonna dodge right here as well, or burn actually right here as well. Adding a little highlight in right there and right along there. So as you can see, just from doing the button, makes it stand out a bit more. Now the only thing we're going to be doing in here, we're obviously going to increase our brush size. We can burn right in here. We can burn over here as well. We can burn right there. We can Alt and highlight right in here. It's right along there. We're going to dodge right there. We're actually going to adjust, try and tone that down a bit. And come across here and just darken this out. Okay, so now what we're actually going to be doing is we're going to be taking our burn tool and we're going to be highlighting the edge of this box to darken it down, because it's not that bright, it's not a gray, it's a very black carbon box. So we're just going to be painting that in right where it needs to be. Now you could use a larger brush size if that's your preference. I prefer this brush size just because I feel it's easier. So just off of that, you could see how much adjustment we've really made to the product. We can kind of feather this up a bit more, just like so. Obviously now I can see after we've done that, I have a few more areas I need to adjust. So we're just going to do that quick with the clone stamp tool. Now we're going to go back to our dodge and burn tool. And then what we're going to do to highlight this again is we're actually going to take this layer. We're going to go to Filter, Camera Raw Filter. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull in a graduated filter. We're just going to come right across like this. Obviously we're going to reset our filter because we don't need what our previous filter was. So resetting our filter, now we have a blank filter. First thing we're going to do is we're going to up our exposure slightly. We're also going to reduce the saturation on it. So we want to reduce that saturation, getting it back to a black rather than the red that we see right now. So I'm going to put it right back to a black. We're going to pull it basically right up to the edge of it here. If we want, we can feather it further. Play around with these a little bit more. And then what we're going to do here, so obviously you can see our before and afters are going to be quite different. We're going to OK this, scratch that. First thing we're going to do, duplicate. So this is going to be for the logo. And then we're going to filter, and it should have already saved our camera raw filter. So we're going to apply our camera raw filter now with our graduated filter. We're going to pull it just like that again, making sure it's virtually even across the box face. We're going to OK that. So now it's going to open, and now we're going to mask this layer in. So we're going to apply a mask, invert it, and we're going to grab our paintbrush now. We're going to paint it in where we like it, using a rather hard brush at around 80%. So we're actually going to decrease that hardiness right now. We're going to decrease this to back around 60%. What we're going to do is just kind of gently paint in here, and then we're just going to come back across, make sure none of our painting's in here, and then we're actually going to boost this up back to 100, reduce the hardiness, and feather it. And we're just going to paint right back along this edge to restore it, while giving the edge of this its glow back as well. Just kind of do it just like that, just so we have a little bit of extra. Then we're going to merge this back down. And from our dodge and burn, we're now going to do micro. It's basically micro dodge and burn because you're going to be working with a brush that's going to be around 10 to 20 pixels. We're going to put this up to 24% now. What we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're just going to dodge where the logo etchings are. And we're going to actually invert that. So now I'm dodging right in here where the real highlights are, and then we're going to be burning these pieces so that they get their highlights back. So we're going to put the rest of this in here, and now we're just going to speed through this. And just from that alone, you can see how much we've really made that logo stand out more away from that box. And that's how to use dodge and burn effectively, knowing where to use it, knowing when to use your dodge or your burn. So as you can see, it's really brightening out that background. So if I really want a really warm background, I can paint in just like that, or if I want it a bit darker, I could burn it and make it a bit darker. Then you can also come in here, we're gonna invert those, get rid of those. And then if I wanted to just really bring out some highlights or bring the shadows up more, I can hold Alt, which is going to dodge this, and then I can drag it right along here. As you can see, it's really gonna start to bring that face of the box out. Obviously we can turn it down a bit, and we can just come in here and dodge on the shadows, or if we want highlights to be a little bit softer, we can burn them to remove some of those highlights. So as you can see, we can work with just the highlights. I like to keep it in the midtones just because it has a little bit smoother of an effect, but you guys can play around with it, learn how to love it, and learn how to use it to improve your work. I do hope this tutorial was helpful, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next Studio Saturday. If you did enjoy this or it was helpful, please leave a like or a comment. If you would like to see future videos, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn the bell on so you get updated anytime any new videos come out, although they are Studio Saturday, so they're out every Saturday. And if you guys want, comment down below what I should do in the next video. Peace out.